Welcome to Educate, Inform, and Challenge. My name is Teresa MacLennan. I'm the Executive Director of the Women and Children's Shelter of Barrie. Thank you so much to our community for being with us today. As you know, the goal of our show is to, well, of course, we talk about violence against women, human trafficking. We also like to highlight and showcase women leaders in our community. We talk about politics, and we also like to create a platform for the great work that is happening here in our community as a way to educate, inform, and to challenge our community. And so we thank you again for being with us. Before we begin, we do want to thank our Indigenous community. We thank you so much for allowing us to share in this space and to have these conversations on these traditional lands. Thank you. So I am really looking forward to my conversation today because there is such value in the work that this agency does, and it is really important for all of us to know about them and the great work. And I'm also really looking forward just to being able to highlight another wonderful woman leader in our community. So I'd like to welcome Kelly Hubbard, who is the Executive Director of Hospice Simcoe. Welcome, Kelly. It's so great to have you today.
Thank you very much, Teresa. This is excellent. I'm very excited about being here with you today.
Super. So let's dive in and let's make sure that we're all clear. What is the mandate and goal for Hospice Simcoe and the work that you do there?
Absolutely. So Hospice Simcoe has been in Simcoe County and providing emotional support and physical support and spiritual support for those that are dying and those that are bereaved. So really, we are here to journey along with those that have a diagnosis that is terminal in nature, meaning that it's not curable. So the illness that they have, we're not able to bring about a cure. So this could be anyone that is chronic kidney disease, chronic heart failure, chronic like an ALS type of disease or a dementia type of disease, or those that have been diagnosed, unfortunately, with cancer that is not curable. So anybody that has that type of terminal illness, it's a difficult diagnosis to receive, and it comes with lots of feelings, lots of emotions, sometimes some planning, what it looks like for their future. So we are really just engaged with people that are dying from a life-threatening illness, and also their families, supporting them, but also in the bereavement world. So after the individual dies, or if no matter what that loss might be in regards to a loved one dying. So it's really sort of twofold. It's lots of terminal illness for sure, and then also some bereavement support.
Let's talk about the wide range of the services, the programs that you have, your residential support. Talk to us about what that menu looks like.
Sure. So I'll start in our community programs. We have community programs. So these programs are for people that are sort of early in their disease trajectory. So they may have a terminal illness, but they are still able to get up and about. They're still feeling well. They're doing well. So we have community programs. So one of the community programs I'll describe as our home visiting program. So we have a team of incredible volunteers, which we can maybe talk about later, but we are a volunteer-based organization. Without them, we would be nowhere. So a team of highly trained volunteers, we get screened with a social worker. A social worker will come into your home. You can put in a self-referral. We come into your home. We sort of check and just really get to know you and what your needs are. And then we will team you up with a volunteer that sort of meets your personality, meets your needs, and we try to find a really good match. And once that volunteer is matched up with you, so say your needs may be, my children are get home from school, and I would like someone to maybe go play with them at the playground for a little while. Or maybe I have a dog that needs to be walked. Or maybe I really want to write some legacy letters. I want to do a project. I want to write a cookbook with all my favorite recipes for my family. There's so many things that we can help you with, from emotional support, some practical support, things like that, some, light, maybe meal preparation. So just things that are helping people that are dying from a life-threatening illness, and they need a community of people around them. And I find that our volunteers find they're a solid, trained, non-judgmental listening ear. So people that are dying from a life-threatening illness don't always want to, or they feel that they don't want to maybe share their fears, their worries with their loved one, because they don't want to burden them any more than what they have. They don't want to bring any more fear or sadness to their loved ones. A hospice volunteer is a beautiful listening ear for that. So you can talk to us, and it's completely confidential, and you can just talk about what you want to talk about, and we're not going to judge that, and we're just going to journey along with you. So it's really about just providing that really emotional, sound, dependable volunteer to come into your home and help you do really all the little tasks that you need some help with. Yeah. So that's one. So our visiting program. Then we also have what we call as a day program. So this is where people that have like illnesses, they come together in a group. So you may all have a cancer diagnosis, for example, and you're all facing sort of the end of your life and your terminal journey. So coming together with other like people that are experiencing your same feelings, your similar issues, similar symptoms even, they come together and they really form a very good network of community that are like-minded and similar journeys. So in these Living Well type of programs, they can be about 8 weeks long. They're facilitated by a social worker and by volunteers, and they're educational. So 1 week we develop the schedule based on the participants that are there, but we will do an education session about nutrition. We'll do an education session about pain management, about medication, about maybe medical assistance in dying, if that's what the group wants to learn about. Whatever this group wants to learn about, we sort of create a curriculum around what they want to know and address some of those worries and fears. A major component with that would be like advanced care planning. So people need to understand, if you do have a terminal illness, who's going to be your substitute decision maker? If and when you get to the point that you can't make your own decisions, who is going to be that person for you? And what are those decisions that you want them to make? Because a substitute decision maker is not to make a decision that is best for them. The substitute decision maker role is really key to have the person that is dying. What are their values? What are their wishes? What do they want? And then as the substitute decision maker, I need to be my loved one's voice. So it's really walking them through what a substitute decision maker is, what a power of attorney is, so that those important things can be talked about, and we can help them sort of facilitate some of that. So while this group is going on, this Living Well group with those that life-threatening illness, right beside it and at the same time, but in a different room, are all the caregivers. So the ones that are dying come together here, and then their caregivers come together here. And it's the same. The caregivers talk about what it's like to care for someone who is dying, about their fears, about their what is our future going to look like? How am I going to go about this? John always did all the banking, so I need to figure out how I'm going to do the banking. Or, it was Mary does all of the cooking. I need to figure out how I'm going to cook. How am I going to do laundry? So there's simple, basic, and practical things. And there's also big emotional things that we talk about. So there's a caregiver group, and we have a Living Well group, and then we have our visiting volunteer at home. So those are some major community programs. I also want to say, we also see children. So we support children through an anticipatory grief process, meaning that, so for example, there's a young mom in our community, and she's got 2 children, married, working, and she gets diagnosed with a terminal illness. How are we going to talk to our children? What are we going to say? I don't want them to forget me. These are these major burdens on these families. So we have a social worker. We've got lots of volunteers that are very highly trained, retired teachers, retired psychotherapists, child life specialists, that will journey along with that family and go to that home and help that mom and that dad, grandparents, communicate to their children as to what this will look like and what it means for mom to die, and helping those children to come to an understanding, maybe never an acceptance, but coming to some sort of an understanding. We're helping to alleviate their fears. If you don't talk to children about death and dying, they will make up their own stories in their mind, right? So we need to be very honest and have frank, good conversations, of course, very gentle and very caring. And we use tools and toys and books and painting to help children to comprehend what is happening. And then also doing lovely legacy projects with that family, whatever that mom and parents and, want to do for those children. So that is another type of an anticipatory grief that we do with children as well. So that's sort of that pre-death programs that we have. And then if you are at, the vast majority, everybody would really love to die at home. That is their personal choice. It's where they're comfortable. It's their own bed, their own pillows, their own, scents and sounds, and it's their comfort. So generally people do not want to leave their homes. They want to stay at home. However, sometimes, that's not always possible for a great variety of reasons. So we do have our 10-bed end-of-life care residential facility here in Barrie. So we have been open about 12 years. And so people come to us if they are unable to manage at home for whatever reason that might be. So we have a 10-bed end-of-life care facility. It's teamed 24/7 with an incredible nursing team. There's RNs, RPNs, PSWs. We have a spiritual care worker here. And really, it's just, you can come here and have 24/7 care. We're experts at pain and symptom management. So if there's an issue in the community of any sort, if there's an issue with a symptom of any sort, then people can come to us. So for example, we had quite a complex case. It was a very young woman that had a very tragic, aggressive type of cancer. And her pain, we had a very difficult time in the community to get her pain controlled, that she could be comfortable. So we worked with our team at RVH and had an epidural and had an anesthetist come and put an epidural. And they can do amazing things now with epidurals. So now, her pain area was completely blocked off. And I can remember when she woke up, we had to sedate her to have this epidural put in. And, she just started to cry because she's like, oh, this is the first time I haven't had pain in so many months. So, and then we can get her comfortable so that she could have a bit of quality of life for her to spend her last, few weeks with us. So we try to go to the sort of nth degree to make sure that we can get you to the best place as possible. Several times in our residential facility, we will admit from the community, their pain is out of control, their nausea, they haven't maybe slept, their bowels haven't moved in quite some time. And so we can bring them in, and I can say probably within 24, 48 hours to 72 hours, we can sort of rejig those meds and medications and use some complementary therapies. We've got, therapeutic touch, we have massage, we have, a whole lot of variety of things that can help with that. So, I think it's just an amazing place to have. We have great trained physicians that are very dedicated. So this residential facility 24/7 can really provide the care and the level of support. And again, not only just the person in the bed, but we don't treat just the person in the bed. The person in the bed is not alone ever, usually. They're not generally ever alone. There's a family unit. There's a community that is around them. So we always need to take into consideration that is not just the person that is dying, but there's a minimum of 5 people that this death and this journey will impact in the end. So it's really wrapping around and being very attentive to the family.
It is just amazing the widespread services that you provide. And I have to tell you that I feel comfort in listening to you in the services that you provide. And I know that there's more services that you provide that I want to continue with.
Okay.
We need to take a very, very short break. So let's do that. And then let's dive right back in, because the information is so incredible. And like I said, I don't have words to express my comfort in listening to you and about your services. So if you are watching today, please stay with us and just come along this journey as we learn more about hospice and the wonderful services they provide. We will be right back.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Calling all journalism students, Omni Television is once again awarding scholarships to qualified students pursuing a career in third language journalism.
The Omni Scholarship has been really conducive to my development as a journalist, and it's shown me that, having this financial support really opens up more avenues.
Omni is home to a variety of locally produced current affairs programs and daily national newscasts, broadcast in 6 languages. To learn more about Omni Scholarships, visit omnitv.ca/scholarships.
Focus better.
Partner better.
Sleep better.
Breathe better.
Love better. Work better. Friend better. Unwind better.
Everything gets better when you get active.
Welcome back, everyone, to this really insightful conversation that we're having with Kelly Hubbard, who's the Executive Director of Hospice Simcoe. We truly hope that this information is educational and informing you about options when any of us can receive a diagnosis, or we're looking towards the end of our lives and we want to know what our options are. So we're going to continue talking with Kelly. And Kelly, we were just talking about the community services. We were talking about the incredible services that you provide that are kind of preemptive, and also the services you provide in terms of residential care. You were talking about how wonderfully you look at pain management, comfort. What else would you like to say about the residential services?
I guess the one thing is that I think I'm not sure what people think in our community as to what the residential facility is. So I would welcome anybody to just come for a tour, because I feel like there's a bit of people are a little bit, not frightened. I think I think they think it's a sad place. And absolutely, this is about death and dying. So absolutely there are tears. Don't get me wrong. But beside those tears, we have a lot of celebrating of life. We have a lot of laughter. We are singing songs all the time. We are having wedding ceremonies, to vow renewals, to birthday parties, to Christmases in July, to you name it. Family gatherings and dinners. We're always having a lot of fun and really just fulfilling wishes. What does your best day look like today? And we'll try to make that best day whatever we can possible. So it's not always very sad. There's always very touching moments. Don't get me wrong. But we're here to help you live your life. You're not dying while you're here. You're living while you're dying. And we try to make that very important. So that would be one thing for sure. Yeah.
Just listening to you, and I know that I have said this right, but listening to you and how as an agency you view death and dying, and how people can have dignity and decision making and comfort and joy. And I often say, just to compare it, in our shelter here, of course, women are coming in, they're abused, human trafficked victims, and there's a lot of trauma, and it's hard. There's so much joy that happens here in our shelter. The kids are playing, the women connect, and that's hard for folks to understand. And I really appreciate that clarity that you've offered, because again, I think that it offers somebody, in terms of an option, an idea of what I could expect.
Yes. Yes. So there's lots of joy, laughter, support. They feel, people have said, this is the best, worst place I've ever walked into, or it feels like I've got this big warm hug, and we always try to make it feel like home. There's always, volunteers in the kitchen that are cooking beautiful soups and nice cookies and treats. So it smells like home, it feels like home, and it's a home-like environment. So we just try to promote that. And this is your place. We are a guest in your room. When we walk across that threshold, we are completely a guest in your room. We make decisions with you all the time. We don't do for you. We don't do to you. We do with you. We make decisions all the time with you. You guide your journey. We are just here to sort of educate and walk alongside you. But every journey is very different and individualized, and it's all based on your own values, your own wishes, your own your own, how you have lived your life is how you're going to die. It's going to be the same. Yeah.
Is there a certain kind of time frame that applies if you're coming into the residential program?
Yeah, we generally have a prognosis of about 3 months or less. Yeah, so if you have a prognosis of 3 months or less. Now, having said that, our average length of stay is just about 11 days. Like I said, people really try to stay home as long as they can. So when they get to the point that they're unable to stay home, then they may come to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
I think that I've heard that one of the, I won't call it even a program, but one of the offerings is something maybe called the Death Cafe or the Death,
yeah. Yes, we have.
Yeah, and I just think that that is a wonderful tool that you offer for folks, right? Do you want to say a little something about what that is?
Sure. Yeah, we offer community education programs. So we have a Dying Matters. It's called Dying Matters. So we'll have a guest speaker like a physician or a community partner, nursing, home community care, whatever that might be, to come and talk about dying and death and dying subjects. And we also do like a death cafe, just to have for the public to come and just to start to talk about what their death and what their dying looks like. And I just don't want for us to forget. We had our community programs, we have our residential program, we have a huge bereavement program that people need to be also aware of. So it does not matter what your loss is. If you have had experienced the death of a loved one within the last 5 years, you can reach out to us to have some individual one-to-one support. We offer group support. So we have really seen an incredible increase in our referrals due to, we want to call them like complicated deaths. So deaths by suicide, deaths by drug misuse or overdose, or deaths by COVID isolation. Their loved one died in a long-term care home and they could not see them for many months before they died due to COVID or an outbreak. So there's been increase in accidents. We've had some homicides, some tragic deaths in our community. So those deaths that happen in our community, hospice will see the people that are around that individual that died. And these are complicated grief situations when somebody dies by suicide unexpectedly or dies from a drug overdose. So it just makes it complicated. And we're seeing more youth, with that, either a loss of a parent or a loss of a sibling or loss of a good friend. So we need to walk people through this fog, this bereavement fog that they sort of live in for quite some time, and help them to come to learn to walk with it and not to try to, just ignore it and put it away, but to identify their feelings and provide them with some support. So these are just really important programs that we're having. So like I said, we have spousal loss groups, we have child loss groups, we have parent loss groups, and we have these bereavement education groups like cooking for one, banking, how to do some of those life plans. So yeah, lots of work going on in our bereavement world. And we have an incredible team of volunteers and staff that are just amazing.
And so we have about a little less than 5 minutes left, Kelly.
Okay.
There is a couple of things that maybe I would really love to just give you an opportunity to talk about. You mentioned just your wonderful value, your volunteers, your team. What would you like to just say to and about your volunteers and your team there?
Well, our volunteers, honestly, I can't even begin to say enough about them. We are a volunteer-based organization, and I mean that very deeply and truly. We are nothing without those volunteer teams, and they are very much our family. So it's imperative that we have them a part of our team. So our volunteers have been with us. We started off with 6 women around a table, that had envisioned what hospice was going to look like. And that was 35 years ago. We're celebrating our 35th anniversary. So that volunteer base, they do everything. They're highly trained, highly dedicated, very committed. They are just incredibly amazing. They give us about 20,000 hours a year on volunteer time. We have about 180 that are actively volunteering, doing something in a meaningful way with touching clients, either at reception, cooking, in visiting in someone's home, doing a bereavement group, attending our fundraising events. So they're amazing. We just have a beautiful family, a beautiful hospice family. Yeah, they're very highly recognized. We're having our volunteer recognition tonight because it's recognizing Volunteer Week, and so very excited about that. So we have some people that have had years of service, that are 25 and 30 years that have been with Hospice Simcoe. So it's quite incredible. Quite incredible.
So something else that I just want to kind of give you the floor. We certainly recognize for all of us as nonprofit agencies relying on volunteers, but also needing so much support, fundraising from the community. Can you just talk to us really briefly about what your fundraising needs are and how can folks
help out? Sure. Well, we fundraise, fortunately, we're successful at it. We fundraise about $1.3 million a year from this wonderful community that we live in. So we have got great donors, great supporters, and great ambassadors in our community. So that 1.3 million helps to cover the residential program. It helps to cover our community programs. It helps to cover our bereavement programs and our volunteer training and all the rest of it. So it's quite significant in this community, but yeah, so you can help out. We have a hike coming up on May 7th. We've got galas, golf tournaments, our annual appeal. You could donate by volunteering. You could donate by money. You can just give us a call. You could go on our website. There's lots of ways that you could help us out. Third-party events are awesome. Instead of having gifts for your 50th birthday party, you ask people to give you, a charity of choice or something like that. So there's lots of small ways and lots of big ways that people can absolutely help out.
Fantastic. And I want to leave you with the last word here. If there is someone watching today who has just received, news that they have a diagnosis that is incurable or, terminal, right? And they aren't sure what to do or where to go. What is the first step for them in terms of knowing more about their options? What words of comfort would you say to them, and where would you lead them to start off?
I think the first thing, if you could, it's possibly easier to hear from a voice. So if you want to call in Monday to Friday, sort of 9 to 5, and call us at 705-722-5995, you will hear a real voice and talk to the receptionist, and receptionist will navigate you as to who you need to speak to. If you don't want to talk to anybody, that's okay. You could call in after hours. You could go to our website if you're tech savvy, and right along the top, you can do a self-referral. But know that you're not alone. We are completely here for you. We are not going to judge you. There's no fear that is not, that we have not, we won't be able to help you through, but we can help you just to be not alone in this journey and to help you navigate and educate you a bit on what your options are. It's a big healthcare system. We can help you navigate just that healthcare system and how to get access to the things that you need to make this journey the best journey possible.
Yeah. I have to tell you, Kelly, I'm so thankful of the work that you do, your agency, your group, your philosophy towards the uniqueness of individuals that use your services, wrapping around them, and walking alongside the folks that you support, not telling them what they need to do, but being that support person and asking them, what do you need, right? How can we help you? I truly am comforted, and I really do hope that our community just really walks alongside Hospice Simcoe. If you can support them in their work, please do. We probably all know someone in our lives who has used those valuable services or may need to in the future or want to. Please support the great work that they do. And we hope that we will see you again, our wonderful community and viewers, next time here on Educate, Inform, and Challenge. Take care, everyone.